If you have a loved one who is struggling with depression and you aren't sure how to talk to them about it, you don't know what questions to ask or what to say, and maybe you don't even know how to bring the subject up. Well, today in this video, I'm going to share with you the do's and don'ts of things to say when speaking with a person that has depression. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Elizabeth Ritchie. I'm a registered clinical counselor with a master's degree in counseling psychology. I'm a certified life coach, and I work with men, women, and young adults in helping them to bust through blocks that are holding them back from living happier and more fulfilled lives. If you like this video today, I hope you will subscribe, give it a like, leave a comment, or ask me a question in the comment sections below. I would love to hear from you. All right, well, I just want to take a moment to clarify what I actually mean by depression. So depression is a persistent state of sadness. It's a serious illness. It has symptoms that have lasted for more than 2 weeks. I'm not talking about somebody who just has the blues or is feeling a bit low or a bit sad. So before we go into things not to say to a person who has depression, I just want to talk a little bit about some things that you may have heard coming from your loved one who has depression. And I wanted to point out that it's very important not to take the loved one's behavior or what they're saying personally, that the person who has the depression is seeing with tunnel vision. They don't have the big picture. They have limiting beliefs, and the way that they're seeing the world is very narrow. So it's important to keep that in mind. And because they're seeing the world with tunnel vision, you may hear them say key phrases such as, "I'm fine." They just shut down. They don't want to talk about it. "I'm fine." Or they may isolate themselves. "I just want to be alone. I just want people to leave me alone." That might be another, thing that they may say. Or, what's the point of all this? I don't see what's the point. What does this all mean? Sort of those existential, big questions that there's no, there's no answer to. Other things they might say is, you hear phrases such as, I can't do that. Or I should do this. I should be happier. I should be out and going to work. I shouldn't be lying in bed. Those kind of things. So very limiting beliefs. So those are red flags that you may have heard your own loved one say. Okay, let's start with what not to say to a loved one or someone you care about who has depression. So the things that you want to avoid when you're having a discussion is you want to avoid giving them advice, trying to fix the situation, or shoulding on them. So saying, well, you should be up and at 'em and at work today. So there's that old phrase saying, when you use the word should, when you're talking to a person, it means you're shoulding all over them. So you want to avoid that word because the person with depression is already feeling totally overwhelmed and they're having trouble dealing with the stuff they have on their plate already. So if somebody starts giving them advice or saying, you should be going to see a naturopath, you should be working out every day, you should go and see this meditation teacher that my friend went to and she was amazing. For a person who can barely, maybe, if this is the case, get out of bed, suggesting all these things is going to be very unhelpful to them. So you want to avoid the shoulds, the advice giving, and the fixing. And keep in mind too that a person with depression is already feeling really guilty and they are very conscious of not wanting to put their emotional load and the way they're feeling onto the people that they love. Okay, we talked about some of the things that we want to avoid saying to a person who has depression that we care about. We want to now talk about how do you approach the subject of them and their depression? How do you act as a support for them? So I'm going to give you a couple ways to do that. So the two big key concepts here are you want to validate what the person is experiencing, and you want to show compassion. Validate and compassion. So you can say something like, I'm sorry that you're struggling right now. I can really see that you're in a lot of pain. How can I help you? That would be one way of saying, that you are there for them, that you care about them, and you want them to tell you what you need to do. So this is very different from trying to fix it or advice giving or giving them shoulds like we talked about but just before. Other things that you can say are, the basic stuff. I support you. I'm here for you. I love you. I care about you. Share that with them if you haven't already. Then they just know you are there for them. You are a support. You could say, you aren't alone in this. You could say, I'm not going to leave you. I'm here with you, and I'm going to stay with you, and we are going to get through this. I will be here for you. So those are very reassuring statements. With the compassion, you just want to practice the compassion, show empathy. I can see you're having a really tough time right now. I can see that, life for you is challenging. Again, how can I help you? What would you like me to do? So those are some really basic ways that you can open up the doors of communication, and you can show that you're a support and that you're there for them, and you're being compassionate and you're validating what they're going through. And this is, again, very different from saying, well, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, walk on the sunny side of the street, just get positive. Those type of statements it'll just be like bouncing off somebody who's wearing armor. It's not going to make any impact. What the person with depression needs is that validation and that compassion. Okay, so we talked about how depression differs from having a low mood or a case of the blues. We also spoke about certain phrases that a person with depression may use. I can't, I should do this is hopeless, those type of things. We spoke about the phrases and questioning and approach that we don't want to take with a person who has depression. We want to avoid the fixing, the shoulds, the advice giving. And lastly, we talked about an appropriate way to approach our loved one with depression and how we want to come to them from a place of compassion and empathy. And also we want to validate what they're going through right now. Those are the key things. So I hope this video was helpful to you today. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe for more videos on mental wellness. And you can ask a question in the comments below. I would love to hear if you have a loved one that you're dealing with right now who may have depression, and maybe you have found a way or a phrase or approach that works. I would love to hear about it in the comments below. And I will get back to you with my next video very soon.